Okay, do you notice one thing about me tonight?
One thing about you, what are we talking about? Your what? You shaved eyebrows? What's going on?
Do you
Are we
notice
live?
do you notice how quiet it is?
Oh. Yo, did you? Are we live? Are we all live?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Did it work? Whatever you tried, you got rid of them.
I don't know. I mean, I just turned on my air compressor. I waited till it was like supercharged. I blew air into everything in the garage and outside the garage to try to, like all the little bits of like asphalt and like little dirt. I just
Yeah.
like shot all that across. So hopefully, I hope I caught up like whatever bugs were in there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's quiet, so that's a plus. I'm not playing any music and nothing like that, so nothing's gonna get blocked.
Oh, speaking of music, like
Yo,
when are
it's
we
so
gonna have
sensitive, man.
when are we gonna have what is my voice too loud?
No, I'm good.
When are we gonna have music? Our own music. Like when are we gonna have
Yeah, I didn't even start putting anything together, man. I'm just gonna maybe about a
like
weekend I'll have something, some type of prototype.
yeah, like how do you make like an ominous noise that kind
Well,
of goes along with
for
like being Arctic, like being cold as
for
F.
someone like me who isn't musically trained,
Well,
I just look for a folder that says ominous sounds,
uh,
and I play through them, bro. I'm like, gaga, gaga,
wait, but is
hee.
that like when you have that type of CD or whatever, is that or that type of sound
Refills. I
samples?
have gigs and gigs upon refills, man. It's just the
Oh.
sound library is crazy, so you just play around with it, then you know.
And then like we could kind of do we kind of own it? Like once you put it together, do we own it or the
Yeah, yeah. I'm
samples?
not I'm not gonna sample anything.
Oh,
This it's
okay.
just a sound bank that I paid for that I manipulate any way I feel. Hey, yo, this is clean and ready to go, man.
What is
Remind me
that?
to give this to you. The rapidograph.
Yeah, like you were talking about the rapidographs that I used to have. Did I do I still have them? Did I put them back in that
This is
drawer?
one here. You have a legit rapidograph pen junkyard. You have a graveyard in your drawer, man. So
Let's see, you brought that
I
one back to
snatched this
life
up.
with the.
Yeah, I snatched this one up, and it's amazing.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
What's
So
like
remind me.
okay?
Point 0.8. It's like for
Oh,
thicker lines. So like you want to do
I like
outlines or the panels.
I like point 0.8.
It's good for panels and stuff like that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So yeah, we're good. So I got to curb the caca mouth, all right?
Why is that?
Yo. So I was re-listening to things you said about Nika yesterday, last week, and you were saying some stuff, bro. You were saying some stuff. You remember we were talking about he got the blood tech. Oh, and plus, the Bloodshot movie. I mean, everything hurts at this point, man. It all hurts because it feels like it's just too close. But I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do anyway? So the blood tech in the blood, the hemobites or the nanobites, whatever we decide on, he's gonna wear it as a suit externally and manipulate it any way he wants, right? So your rant, which we have to save, we have to export this rant. It was crazy. You were like, so, so you went on this 20-minute just rant talking about how he's gonna have hundreds of like exosuits fighting on their own, right? That's the direction it's got to go in.
Well,
That's what's
see,
gonna happen.
like let me just start from like where I think it starts from because I think there's an evolution to like every single story element. So like the evolution to this story element is like and the artwork is going to like speak for itself here where like you see Nika and like he is kind of in his normal self at this point of not wearing clothes, like maybe he wears a loincloth or whatever you put on him, shorts, right? Just wears
I'm
the
playing with the
naked
idea of just like a
or
poncho over
shadows,
him. You know what I mean?
poncho, whatever, right? So
Just to hold stuff in it.
like you see him and you see like the first iteration of this is kind of like Bloodshot, right? It's just like, but I mean, Bloodshot's different
I see it
because
more like Carnage. Like he'll
yeah,
like
because like
manipulate bits and pieces here and
Bloodshot,
there.
it's like him, and that's not what
Inside,
this.
that's like all internal stuff going on
Yeah,
too.
like that's like him. This is like something. It's another person's blood on Nika. So
Yeah,
at
man.
first, I just kind of see it as like if you see the shoulder, you just see the you just see blood like on the shoulder, and if you like see some on the chest. It's just some on the chest, and maybe there's some here or here, right?
No, what I'm thinking though, I think the progression should start on his hands.
What's that? Yeah, it could start on his hands. Like it's kind of like if you think of it like
uses it on his hands,
just like extensions. The Tony Stark. Yeah, and like we could show like little kind of close-ups where like, you know, maybe like little spikes kind of pop out right when he's about to punch him on those
So by like issue 51, when he's totally doused and turns around looking crazy, the reader's gonna say, "Oh man, he's about to get crazy." You know what I mean? Like he's about to go bananas because they have to have some history with it.
Yeah, because like the way I see it first is there's, you know, him kind of naked or whatever, but you see his like musculature, and the blood is lying on his body like as if one of either you or I was bleeding. But then like Mark II is like it's a little thicker, you know. And you kind of notice it more. Like Mark III is like he's covered in blood, like kind of like a horror movie. You know, and then like up from there is like eventually when you start to see it thicker, you start to lose his musculature, like the look of it, because it becomes more like armor. Like let's say there's 20 people's blood involved in it, or you know, maybe he only harvests like there's only a handful of hemobites like harvested per person. So that's why, like you said at first, maybe it's like one person's blood he's dealing with. He's got it on like his knuckles. You know, that's as much hemobites he harvested from their blood. Because the hemobites, like maybe they're not like full 8 pints. Like maybe they make up like half a pint. They're just all spread out, right? Over, you know, so he kind of gathers them, whatever. And then a little bit later, it's like on his wrists, on his shoulders, on his chest, on his face a little bit. When like a projectile comes to hit him, those parts of the blood, those hemobites kind of get repellent. They, you know, and then as it gets more meatier and meatier, I think we can go into those other ideas where like in the new Terminator trailer, the for the, you know, nanotech on the bad guy Terminator actually forms like another opponent.
Yeah, that's way in the future though.
So like that's like, you know, really if we get there, that's like, and like you said, you know, maybe there's multiple, so maybe it's not only that, but maybe he could separate them into like orbs that are like kind of flying around, like kind of like Magneto when he circles around.
So he's like the blood Magneto, honestly, man. So I got him. Did you see what I was drawing, man? You did.
Wait, last week?
Just now. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it was like Nika's head.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Face.
What are you talking about with all the orbs around him? I literally have a sketch of him like orbed out.
No. I just saw like, from what I could see, it was pencils. I could see like a mouth.
It's like I'm looking at myself here. It's kind of funny, man. It looked like I had two giant tatas just in my hand, like All right, yo. How do I change this, man? But yeah. I just threw this sketch together. I want to try to ink it up. Yeah, I'm like I'm not that swift with these. Oh, here we go. Yeah, man. So yeah, I'm really excited about this, man.
Yeah, I can see his head there, but I can't see anything else really. Maybe
it's real light. It's real light.
Yeah.
So like, am I going to it? Where am I going? You see that he got like orbs around him?
Move like down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Oh, okay, I can see it.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, he's bugging.
And he's got like a crazy turtleneck poncho on right now.
I can see that, yeah.
yeah, I'm a bug out. I'm gonna work this one through. I'm obsessing over this dude, but I think you kind of have to obsess over the character to get it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see up in the top there. You have like maybe some smaller.
Yeah, it's like young boy. I was playing with his hair there, and then like over here in the corner, I have him like kind of floating with the orbs.
Oh, nice! I like that.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm just gonna bang these out.
Oh, I can almost see it if it's like a movie where like he's got enough of them where real quick, I'm talking about a 1 second scene in the movie, like where he kind of runs up blood stairs, leaps, and then they reform even before he like stabs somebody or lands. You know,
that's when he goes Super Saiyan with the blood.
yeah, it could be like, it's kind of like, I'm telling you, it's kind of like that. There was a bunch of video games back in like the.
You keep bringing up that one game, man. I gotta look it up.
There was like 3 of them that are all like that. There was like a bunch of. Like the one I keep saying is Bayonetta, but then there's like 2 others that are just like that, where you like shoot like Carnage type crap around. It's kind of like the game that we used to love when we were growing up. At least I did. It was like you shot a metal arm. You had a metal like. Well, not Strider. I love Strider, but there was another one like even like a Nintendo 8-bit. Metal? No, not Metal Gear, but you had like Bionic Commando.
Oh yeah, come on, man,
yeah.
come on,
Bionic Commando. But it's like amazing. The evolution of that, where it's just like he had one arm, and this is like a lot of
Bionic Commando was where it was at.
But I think like gravity still applies with this stuff. So I'm seeing like, let's say you had the scene I was talking about. They're not like floating stairs like Magneto could do. Because I'm not sure that they could float. Let me think about that for a second. Because I think gravity still applies. Like,
yeah. Like, yeah, I think he's just like he's using these things like a hoverboard or something crazy. You know what I mean? Like he's skateboarding on these things.
Okay, like because it's viscous.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like a viscous sludge under him that he's just.
Yeah. Right. Oh, like so he can slime around at this point like a snake.
He can stop and sit down on a crazy throne. He can do whatever. It could be real visual with this stuff.
The way that the light is on your drawing right now, from my view, looks like a Cat in the Hat type of thing, like a Dr. Seuss thing. Yeah.
That sounds horrible.
You think so? Everything, every compliment I try to give you, you say it sounds bad.
Cat in the Hat. Yeah, I know working with a graphic novel wanted to be the coolest thing ever, but it's looking pretty Dr. Seuss-ish.
No, but that's just because it's like hard to see a little bit.
A little something, yeah. It's gonna get darker and darker as I go. Yeah, man. What do you got going on? What page?
Well, I got pull it up. I got the tribute page, which is really page 4. It's kind of like our page 1, but it's really page 4. Because like, oh yeah, that was the other kind of thing I wanted to say. Do you want to, like, are we calling those first pages the prologue, or are we calling them page 1, 2, 3, like, and then this is 4 or whatever? You know what I mean? Or does that not matter?
I think I would just go with page 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 4. No, this is page 5. Okay, this is page 5. It's really kind of like page 1 through 4 is kind of like a prologue. I'm just a
little leery to get into all that because once it's all laid out, we might play around and things could just move around and do. Oh, nice. I have some ideas for those buildings as well, man. Next time we link up, I want to talk about those. You know how like in this whole world is all this like magnetic technology?
Yeah.
Like there's no need for steel to be no steel on steel contact really. They could just kind of hover over each other. So I think once we break those buildings down, we can kind of imagine how they could have been rebuilt with that technology.
What do you mean, like they had fallen? Or?
Like, how we always talk about, do whatever happened, maybe the top halves be all, busted up or broken down, and then they would have repaired it a little bit, patched it up using this tech.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I need this character, John Dobbs, just absolute man.
Johnny Dobbs.
This is the first time you see him here. I had him a little bit bald before, but then I realized that Bo-Mag has got the beard and it's bald. So
it's all Dobbs
will have bald? Like a little hair on top. Like,
I mean, you know how many middle-aged men are bald?
Yeah, I mean, bald and a beard. I don't want to like. I think we should reserve like that stocky, bald, bearded guy for Bomag. Um, like that's and
Who's like the quote unquote bad guy of the story?
yeah, I would say so. Like I don't know. Like to me, like, I don't know.
I mean,
Is
he's
it
introduced as kind of the villain, but like, who's to say? I mean, I think people are gonna have their own opinion about him.
like isn't I mean, I guess it depends on. I mean, there's just different things going on in the story. So there's actually different people like acting like the villain, depending on what your point of view is. Like if you're just somebody in Nika's path, he's the villain. If you're in Bomag's path, he's the villain.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess if you're on the losing side of the war, you think Donovan's a villain.
yep, yep. Yeah, man. So the definitely digging the blood armor angle. That's gonna be sick. What's up,
Yeah,
man?
all in all, I mean that's kind of
All right, all right.
it's big for the character of Nika, but it's not really that big for the story. Um, it's like yeah, Nika can utilize that. I guess it could also be like almost a surprise to the sister, like if she has to, or anybody has to come up against him. It's going to be a surprise that you cannot penetrate that.
I mean, I think even without the armor, their skin is pretty tough.
Yeah,
That's the way I've always seen it. Anyway.
I also kind of see it as like slippery, or maybe how if they can control the like the tone of it, maybe
Yeah.
they could also control.
So
Maybe they
you see it reptilian like.
Yeah, like maybe they could also control
The
like
coarseness, the
yeah,
texture.
like the friction of it, so it could go from like a dolphin, like really slick and smooth, to maybe almost like Spider-Man. Like maybe he can grab onto the to like a surface because their skin could get like that, like or like little. When they did a close up on Spider-Man, and
Yeah. And so the
they
hairs and
showed
stuff.
like that there was like little hairs coming out.
Yeah, I see that. That could
I'm
be
thinking,
crazy.
because like some of the images I drew early on, or not even early on, like pretty recently of the mother, there was like, she's like kind of crawling up a tree and stuff like that. So I kind of feel like these are like, to our eyes, like anything foreign is weird to us because we're human with five senses, but nobody ever knows if like an alien exists that's like a gaseous alien that we can't see, and you just don't
Alien.
perceive it as an entity. So in that train of thought, you can think of like these people are some of these characters are like part alien, so that can give them like we don't understand like some of their methods, like some of their biology.
Yeah, we don't have
For
to explain it either.
We don't have to explain it because you know what? We can't even explain our own biology,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that we've
yeah.
been studying it for hundreds of years and thousands of years. We think we can get close, but right? They say it's so much a mystery still. So when I
Yeah.
see, the mother climbing around, or the twins, maybe they're stuck to the ceiling, I feel like that's possible because not only are they these aliens, but they're like super athletic forms of
Yeah, they're
the
killers.
aliens. I mean, we know nothing about like where they're from. Like on Earth, we have like out of shape people. We just have no idea if over on their planet there is even out of shape people. You just don't know anything really. But at least to us, they kind of look, or they act like they're athletic. Like we have them as like they're basically compared to human beings. They're like super athletes, but
Yeah,
we have
super
no
agile.
idea. Yeah, if maybe on their planet they would get the bronze medal or less. I mean, we don't know if they're like, maybe they're crappy on their planet. Like maybe since they're, well, I don't know. Like in Star Trek, Spock would say that it made him stronger, made him better to be part Vulcan and part human. It was like a strength where all his people saw it as a weakness. That's how I'm looking at Nika and Burkita. I feel like they are better, and I think I told this to you last time, that they are better for being part human and part alien, just like your kids are better for, it's worse if you keep the genes within the biological family, right? That's why you went outside your biological family to look for someone on the outside. That's when the person becomes better. Same thing with dogs and stuff like that. Like when you have like a purebred dog, there can be problems. They can have a problem because it's not actually good to do that. Because what they'll do with the purebred is they'll intermix a family. It's better to go outside. It's better to have the mutt. They're always healthier. So with these characters, if we have a mix of human and the alien character, I think they're the best of those two worlds.
Yeah, I agree. I get it. I get it, man.
Yeah, so I'm putting like a lot of like confetti in this drawing and stuff like that, but I feel like in the process when we color, this is going to have to be added a lot more of it too. So whatever confetti like I'm drawing in here, just want like more confetti later,
That's easy enough. It's easy enough, man.
So did you see what I did on any of these? Let's see if I move this camera. I don't know if I should move the camera. Maybe move the page. Any of these flags here, they have two suns on them.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I did notice that.
What do you think about that? Is that kind of maybe they won the war and then they went out and painted all these flags to like have.
So at the same time, this is like they're showcasing the new flags at the same time.
Yeah, because it's like
it's just a prideful type of parade, they're just celebrating, right? They got the new
Yeah, because I feel like no one has two suns, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's a big deal, man. And plus, opening up with those like you don't want to call them vagrants though, right? They're just wanderers, really.
I call them. Are you talking about the people outside the city?
Yeah.
I call them like nomads for now.
Yeah,
I know we said we needed like a better term, but yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like
how Moore said we should showcase the city in the background. We're going to show how the light hits that city.
Oh yeah. See, like that's part of the reason why I do some of these buildings this way.
Yeah.
I want it to reflect off like it's the glass or like the when I told you the color palette that I wanted for this page was like a kind of a sunset color pattern, and we kind of had to talk about like, well, would there be a sunset colors because of and we kind of came to the conclusion that there might be, because maybe they could control kind of the orbit of them or how they move around or whatever.
Yeah.
So in this scene where it's like low suns, they don't have to be present in the drawing here, but the light from them will be, and that will be reflecting off these buildings, like really cool. And then, in a scene later, we can show from the outside in and show how it almost looks like, you remember when they showed Oz in The Wizard of Oz from like really far away? Yeah, the original, like really far away, was kind of sparkling and twinkling.
I just showed that to my kids.
That's kind of what I'm thinking for this. It's
I just put that on for my kids, man.
Yeah, it's really, really.
You know what happened?
They
walked away.
Of course.
I'm like, damn, it's a sad day when The Wizard of Oz doesn't impress kids anymore, man.
Yeah, like I don't know, like even with the dog, like all I wanted as a kid was a dog. We brought my dog over your house, and the kids are just like looking at their iPads as they walk by, going, "Hi, doggy, bye," whatever.
Bye.
They don't care. Like we care about that stuff. Like if someone had a pet, like a parakeet, a little birdie was coming over, or I could go over to a neighbor and see a rabbit or something. I mean, I was all in.
I was in there. I was
That
in
was
there.
the highlight. And if my dad brought home an animal or a little turtle because he found it on the road, oh man, that was the best.
Yeah, yep. That day is gone, man. Those days are gone. I mean, I'm a little excited how my kids both like to draw a lot. Like they're really digging the idea that they can make something from scratch. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's fantastic.
So that's cool. So a lot of times, like these days, we're finding ourselves, no TV on, no media playing.
Oh,
We're just making up just monsters that fight each other.
oh, that's great.
Yeah, yeah. And it just it just happened, which is
Well,
kind
I
of crazy.
mean, it kind of was like that, like since when they were really little, you pull out the paper, they would
Yeah,
draw. Even at like 2 years old, wasn't it? They would draw on that long piece of paper.
yeah. 70 yards.
So,
Yeah, yep. That was fun. One was done with those 70 yards actually.
oh wow.
70 feet. I keep saying yards, but it's feet.
Is that does that accept paints and stuff like that, or just?
Yeah, yeah. You can paint on that. There's all type of media on there. There's charcoal, there's paint, there's pencils, crayons, marker. It's crazy.
Yeah, I kind of got happy the other day when I was thinking about our book, and I was thinking about like how we have like monsters and stuff, and I was like, yeah,
It's
like
gonna be
I
nuts.
thought I was thinking about monsters, and I was like, wait, we have monsters.
We got monsters. Yeah, I'm gonna breaking out the paint, bro. Breaking out the ink.
What do you got?
Breaking out the ink.
See now, what it looks like to me is he's in a straitjacket.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, it's a poncho with a hoodie.
Mhm.
Not a
It's
hoodie, a
it's
turtleneck.
also the future, so it could be like,
Turtleneck.
oh wow,
Turtleneck poncho, man.
you just gave me an idea though. Oh geez, like
Oh god. Oh god. Oh jeez.
what if that is the blood is like a blood suit?
Yeah, that could be crazy too. I mean,
Like
we could do
he
anything.
turned, yeah, like he kind of. I mean, I don't know how. I don't even have this many scenes for him yet, but at least not at that age because he's older. But I wonder if he kind of walks around. I don't know if he walks around trying to impress people, but that could be funny if
Nah.
he made that suit, to kind of look cool. But I just don't think he cares about like looking cool.
I don't think he cares about much. Not Nika Cordova. I don't even think he cares about a name. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think he cares about the name.
He does not.
I don't think he wants the name. A lot of confetti, I feel like, for this. All different sizes. See, I even got Dobbs' son in here, which you'll see
Yeah.
just a little of. Just because, I want people to go back and when they get through the book and then they want to maybe review it a second time, they could find some, this character was present there. When I watch Game of Thrones again and I see how many characters were present early on, it's like Bronn was sitting in the cafe or whatever, the restaurant. He was in episode 2. All these people were early on. It's crazy. So I want that to be just like that.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely a goal. Most definitely. And we pretty much have the story figured out all the way to the end. Really, we're just playing around with the in betweens.
Yeah.
Which is the fun part, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I like having the skeletal, outline of the entire thing, and we get to go back and put in a lot of the connecting lines.
Oh, I think I did it again as far as the quality.
What happened?
Oh no, I'm at high definition. All right, cool.
Oh, okay.
Just doesn't look like I'm in focus.
It does
Fine
now. Did
focus.
you just adjust something? Kind of looks better now.
Oh, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't even know anymore.
Maybe it has something to do with the light. I don't know. Actually, my light looks like, see, in real life, it doesn't look like it has stripes on it, but I look at the screen here and I see stripes.
Yeah, I see stripes. That's what I was just kind of stuck on.
And the next page we're going to do is page 6. This one is all laid out already. This one is the introduction. It's basically, it's the real introduction of Donovan and Dobbs. Although you see them on the previous page, they get a
Dobbs,
close
who's his right
up
hand man for
here.
years.
Yeah, they get a close up here, and it's also the introduction of Sol Gibson, who is one of the bands in this world.
It's like the main band.
It's like the most
Sol
popular
Gibson.
band. So we have an announcer here, kind of opening up for Sol Gibson.
That's funny, bro.
Oh yeah, here's one of the images. Found one of them. So yeah, I kind of had, and Kevin, I think you saw an earlier version of this.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yep.
It's kind of like I have Donovan here, who
She's
later on,
working.
and I think this is still the first volume. This is early. This is kind of early, but this is Donovan here. He's carrying some firewood, and alien woman is actually kind of spying on him from a tree. She can kind of hide out, and that's one of the things I think. They're so athletic. They're so like manipulative over their own body. Like we talked about, not only maybe if this was colored, you would see that she is. I mean, I still, even when I drew this, I kind of think that like Donovan knows she's there, but she's also hiding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's perceptive. Like there's only a couple times where she kind of gets over on him, and it's only when like she takes him by surprise in a sense, and gets the better of him maybe twice. But that's not really like how it goes normally for Donovan. Normally Donovan's getting the better of every situation. He's kind of like a genius in our story. He's like a military. He has like military wisdom, and he also has like real world, like scientific wisdom.
Yeah, he's like the Genghis Khan of that world.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Yeah, I think you're right. There it is. It's in here. It's in here because it's coming from the left.
There goes your boy, man.
Oh no, that's terrible.
It's pretty funny though. We can draw some crickets in there. Might as well draw some crickets in volume 1. Be an inside joke.
Yeah, like I don't know what I'm sure those type of bugs would be alive. I wonder if there'd be
crickets are going nowhere.
They're gonna go nowhere. Just like roaches, just like I don't know, like all those bugs that could like live through a catastrophe. But what happens when it's like -50, like at best? How many bugs are still going to be there?
Well, I mean, they're living in the places where the synth suns are. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, because I feel like, bugs, like, they're not really going to go anywhere.
Nah.
Because, like, they'll hide in whatever dirty corner and dirty pocket that they can possibly find. and they'll stay there.
Stay there forever. Bastards.
Oh yeah, here's the other. Here's like the original picture of that. So here's Donovan here, and
There she goes blended in.
There's like, this is the first version of that other drawing. Kind of, I like the other one better because this got a better angle. It's more cleaned up.
Yeah.
But this one is just kind of showing that Donovan has this like outfit that, you know, it's almost akin to like Nika's blood armor, to be quite honest, now that we're talking about it, because this is Donovan's version. It doesn't have anything to do with blood, but it's just a technology suit that he has, which allows temperature regulation, maybe a few other things, maybe a couple offensive things, a couple defensive things. But for the most part, it's like temperature regulation, his military outfit, his military suit. And the way I see that working is kind of like, you know, Iron Man's armor, just like not so crazy. Do you remember in Avengers Infinity War and in Endgame, maybe a couple of the others, it was so nanotechy that it just kept like changing up really quick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I see Nika's like technology doing that with the his control over the hemobites, but I don't see Donovan's control over them to be like Tony Stark's control over like the nanotech. That's too much.
Donovan has internal control. He doesn't have external control. Yeah,
like he uses technology of like this type of small like nanotype technology, but he's not like a god of using it, you know.
No.
But he is one of the top people. Like there's one scene where some people come upon him and he's wearing this outfit and they don't kind of understand it, you know. So there's certain people, like most people in this world are wearing normal clothes, and normal clothes meaning winter gear, you know. It's very cold. It's like 50 below at its like warmest. Maybe it's 20 below at its warmest. I don't know what it is, you know. It's very cold. It's like frostbite situation. They're wearing heavy gear. They're wearing winter gear. They're wearing whatever they can find, because certain things are high technology, certain things are really low tech, just like our winter coats, just like regular winter coats. That's what most people have. But people like Donovan, when they see someone that's like not wearing a heavy winter coat, that's weird, you know. So he has a different type of outfit, that temperature regulation. And the woman on the tree is an alien woman who doesn't need any temperature regulation really, because she's like kind of like a cold-blooded creature.
Yep.
Your arm's kind of in the way of what you're doing.
Oh man.
Hard for people to see.
You see, I was zoning out.
It's looking good though, looking good. I really like the black on the right side. That's great.
Nice.
So now in this world of being 50 below, or 20 below.
Average temp is going to be 100 below, really.
Whatever it is, you know, there's artificial suns.
There's no sun, yeah.
But so you might be asking, well, why is there trees? Well, Donovan, one of his claims to fame is that he is high technology. He's exploring alien life forms. He's trying to.
That's how she came about.
So he's trying to gain access to alien, vegetation and things like that we can grow in a 40 below, 100 below. Like what can we grow in 100 below? Well, not much, you know. So, but what you can do is you can look for alternates on other planets. You know, maybe some planets have different type of vegetation that's edible for human beings. So that's exactly what he spearheaded. He actually really didn't spearhead it, you know, to be quite honest. This like research was going on for hundreds of years before Donovan. But he's the one in this current time frame, basically one of the only people performing this research anymore. To try to save like people as a whole. nobody's really caring about that. They don't really care about. They're worried about eating. They're not worried about saving the planet. So Donovan's basically the only person on Earth, I think, the only leader on Earth who is actively trying to save like all of humanity, not just people close to Donovan. So one of the things he did was he was able to utilize alien vegetation, alien life form, and actually grow our original trees, but they require like kind of light pods and heat assistance. So there's these alien kind of life forms that assist the trees, kind of like parasites, but more like the tree is the parasite in a sense. Like our tree is a parasite, so we're able to start vegetation. Maybe have apple trees and different types of trees and vegetation that's like native to Earth, plus also mix in some vegetation that Donovan was able to procure from other planets to feed the people of Earth. So sometimes you'll see in Albatross Junction or different areas of this world, you'll see weird bushes and weird vegetation, and that's because that's a vegetation that Donovan introduced. So he's kind of famous like all over the world for being the one to actually feed the people of the world, because before him you really didn't have any way. Like basically people were going extinct.
Well, he's pretty much famous in this part of the world, because I don't think that they don't know what's happening on the other side of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like the terrain is too hard to travel.
Right. So actually,
the world is frozen over.
Right, that's a good point. Because it's almost like if you remember, I'm always going to be talking about like what it relates to in a movie or a book or something. So in Terminator 3. Rise of the Machines. If you remember at the very end, see, now I love a movie where they do the Armageddon, like Miracle Mile. I think I gave that to you as like a Christmas gift good. One year or something. Like I have to give this movie away. Like the end of the world happens in the movie. So I love it when that happens. Rise of the Machines. Everybody hated this movie, but the end of the world happens at the end. And at the end, nobody knows. The people that are left don't know if there's anyone else. So they're on the radio going, hey, I'm in, we're Russians. Is anyone there? Or whatever they're saying at the end. I'm in this place. I'm hiding. Is anyone there? So they start to realize, oh, there's other people alive. So that's kind of what happens every now and again. Like there's a scene in our book where Donovan comes upon a group way out there in the wilderness that he wasn't aware existed. And he is, one of the premier sort of knowledge bases in this world. If anyone knows anything, it's probably Donovan, and for him not to know about certain pockets of certain villages, certain groups of people, just goes to show you that there's many, many, areas of the world where people have found a way to survive. There's one group that goes underground that is sort of like the Morlocks from the Time Machine movie we talked about. And they're like weirder, and they're different people. They've not necessarily evolved, because maybe 500, 1,000 years isn't enough time to really evolve. But certain changes do take place, even in a short amount of time like that. Their eyes might be bigger. Their eyes might be blacker.
They might like the monsters in the story.
Yeah, they're
one of them.
Yeah, and that actually brings to mind another thing is that I just love that aspect in like Lord of the Rings, where Gandalf says that when they discover the Balrog, it's a horrible monster. He kind of says that it's because they just dug so deep into the earth.
Yeah.
That's why that happened.
It's kind of the same thing. Yo, Yo, I am zoning out, bro.
So we got some people like all over the world. We got a group of ladies.
Group of ladies
who kind of travel as a gang, and they have like factions of the gang, and they almost like what we were just talking about. Some of the factions of the gang may not even be too aware of other factions of the gang, but they all kind of follow a certain method, a certain code. They all kind of started from one lady, and that's how they originated. They're called the Manfredos. They were established by one lady, Delilah, and they grew to be, over like 100 years, they grew to be kind of a force to be reckoned with, because they have certain weapons that other people in the world just like never seen before. If you've ever played, is it a Star Wars game where you have a disruptor rifle, or is it like Halo or something, Kev?
A disruptor rifle.
I think it's a Star Wars game where you have a disruptor rifle, which is like it's like an awful gun. It's kind of like it'll kind of make you disappear in a sense, for lack of a better word. Kind of like evaporate you, you know. Terrible. So these chicks have certain guns. They have a lot of these like very rare weapons, and the rare weapon is like, you know, in Star Wars you have a lightsaber, which is super, super rare. Imagine a whole group of people with lightsabers, very rare, you know, weapons in the Star Wars world. These girls have this certain kind of gun that they could actually bypass. Like when they shoot you with it, they don't get like what burn. Yeah, like what they're doing when they shoot you with it is they're activating the technology that are in everybody. And what happens when they shoot you is it activates a technology that is inside of you that tells you that you've committed a heinous crime and you're about to be punished with capital punishment. And so all that happens in a split second, and the person appears to be vaporized. But in fact, it wasn't really the gun that was doing it. It was just the fact that they shot in your direction, and your hemobites caught the signal that you had performed an evil act, and you get vaporized. So when you put a whole bunch of these guns in the hands of these Manfredos, they become a pretty formidable force, especially when no one else can really find these weapons. They stumbled upon some kind of cache of these weapons, and they're so rare in the world. They're like a lightsaber. No one else really has it. So when when they roll into town, it's kind of a problem.
To say the least.
To say the least, yeah. But they could also be of help. So they're for hire. They're like mercenaries.
Yeah, they're neutral.
There's one of them here. Now, one of their kind of claims to fame here is they like to ride beasts. They want to utilize like mech suits. What they want to do is bypass any of the technology that's within every person in our world. They want to bypass the technology that punishes you. So what they do is they might go inside a mech suit, and if the mech suit could stomp you, and it's not you're not punished for that. Maybe they're on a elephant that when the elephant tramples you, it's not you. You kind of bypass any punishment from that murder, but is basically you by guiding the animal. So they utilize the technology of the day to also enhance their animals. You know, they might have robotics in their animals, robotic eyes. They might have methods of keeping.
You have a lot of Nick Woods is hitting you up.
Oh, let's see here. I didn't see the comments.
Nick Woods. That's your man right there.
Hey there,
Reminds me
Nick.
of
Oh,
an,
he says
reminds me of an
Wicked.
idea. Yeah, I've had for a story. Yo, send us a story, man.
Oh,
We're gonna use it.
he liked the other drawing. I had up better.
Nice, nice.
Oh, a World War III disaster. Yeah, that's kind of like
Beginning of the
similar
end
to
of the
what we're
world.
dealing with here, but it's almost like we kind of leave that in the past, and we don't know if it's World War III or if it's World War IV or
Yeah,
when exactly it happened. It's kind of like if you look at the history of Star Trek, and I really love like the way that they dealt with what happened in the Star Trek universe. They kind of have it all mapped out of like what went wrong and what happened and things like that. But we're not going to have it so much explained. It's kind of like there's a disasters, maybe multiple disasters, right, in the past where humans went to wasn't maybe it was a natural disaster, maybe it was technological disaster. It's kind of hinted at. We talk about it a little bit. But it's not actually come out and said like, hey, this is like a thermonuclear disaster or something like that. The main mega environmental thing that happens is the fact that we enter the story where the sun has already burned out sometime in the past. So it's we kind of hit back in time of a bunch of flashbacks of different times in history of certain things that happen without ever really going back to, you know, sort of the science behind why that happened exactly. But certainly some of the points are touched on of like when the sun was dimming out. That's a pretty interesting time frame in our world where people basically were going crazy and there was wars and it got really bad because certain people believed that that if we all joined together, if people worked together, that something could be done. So what they did was they did gather a lot of people together. They did gather, countries joined forces. And Kev, I didn't even talk about this with you.
yeah. I was about to say, what the hell are
I
you
kind of
talking
feel
about,
like
bro?
now I don't know
Like,
why I got.
are you freestyling right now? It's
No,
kind of
this is all
impressive.
stuff. This is all stuff I kind of either wrote down or this coming up is what I thought about recently. Was that now I don't know why, because I feel like times change and we're so stuck in America because that's where we are. But there's a whole big world out there, and I don't know much about Spain. But I was just thinking, like maybe in our story, it's like the Spanish president, because this could be many years from now. It's like the Spanish president finds a way to bring people together, to get some people together. Other presidents join forces, other countries, they all come together, right? They build the biggest spaceship anyone has ever seen. It's called the Circadian, right? And
Oh, and that's where he got it from.
yeah, like that's where the Circadian came from. And it was kind of like the whole world joined forces to build this ship. So the resources of the world were taken up by these people, by every country, let's just put a number on it, and let's say 70% of the world was behind this and 30% of the world was not going to be involved with this for whatever reason. Nobody, there's always pluses and minuses. One of the minuses to building the Circadian, which is a super gigantic mega spaceship, basically like city on top of city on top of city on top of floating city, all connected together as the spaceship, as like a kind of a superstar destroyer type of spaceship, but more like picture cities sticking out all over the place. I actually have a picture of the Circadian I can bring up. But so you got this huge ship. The negative about making this ship, it destroyed the world basically. So not only do we have the sun diminishing, people are freaking out. Scientists are saying
Why
we
did
have
the
35 years left. We have 50 years left. Say again, Kev?
Why did the Circadia destroy the world?
No, well, it's not. I'm not really saying like that destroyed the world. I'm saying like it depleted the Earth's resources to such a mega extent. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Like at a time when the sun is already diminishing, we have like whatever they were predicting. They might have said we have 75 years left. What are we going to do? We have 50 years. And you know how people don't believe that shit now, because in our world, Al Gore gets up and says, "Oh, this is going to happen. This is going to happen." He makes a video. Guess what? He says 2012, we're all going to, fall into the sea or something. It didn't happen. So they make more videos. Okay, no, it's 2024. That's when everything's going to go bad. So imagine the sun's diminishing. The scientists are starting to squawk about it. No one's believing them. 20 years go by. 30 years go by, 40 years go by, certain signs are apparent to people that the sun is diminishing. Sun's light's diminishing. Scientists come out and say, we told you so. Whatever, XYZ is happening, we told you so. Now we got 40 years left. Still, people don't believe them. 10 more years go by. They say, look, we got 25 years left. We were a little bit wrong before. It's happening faster. People are like, what are we going to do? People start freaking out. What are we going to do? They build the circadian. They feel like we're going to get off planet. It's the only thing we can do. We can build a spaceship. It can carry as many people as possible. Let's make it 20 cities, right? So they got maybe 20, 25 years. They are going to build the circadian. They're going to send the circadian out into the stars and locate like another star system that is like ours used to be. Maybe we can recolonize it. Kind of like at that point, it's like kind of like interstellar.
You give me an idea, man, for the so like the people of Quantum Heights, because like if this is real and they really build this ship, they don't want to take the best of the best, right?
Well, at this point that I'm talking about this circadian happening, like let's say this is like about 350 years or 500 years before our story starts or longer, right? So this is all in the past that I'm talking about. Okay. We don't really, we see this because it relates to some of the stuff that comes out in our book. Because what happens is the circadian goes out on its mission with all the best of the best people, the best of the best people of the earth, get on board. They can hold, let's say they can hold, I don't know, what would you say? They could hold 250,000 people. Maybe they could hold, if it's city on top of city, maybe it's millions of people that are on the circadian. They go out into space. Many, many years go by. The sun diminishes and goes out maybe even before the circadian takes off, right? It's dire, dire, dire straits. So they go out. They actually have some successes. They find some locations. They find some alien materials. The scientists take samples. They are maybe even meeting aliens. We don't know. They're so far away. They use some kind of technology, some kind of almost like light year type technology where they can get farther, faster. But thing is, they actually do make it back to Earth. Come back to Earth many, many years later. Maybe it's 70 years later, right? They come back to Earth, but they crash land on Earth. The entire circadian crash lands on a basically desolate, dead Earth because the people have been without light, without sunlight for 70 years. Now, there's been other precautions taken. Not everything was put towards the circadian on planet Earth. Some things were put towards artificial sun satellites. Some things were put towards underground bunkers. Some people went the method of smaller spaceships. Some people went the method of, hiding in a mountain. People were trying different things. Maybe trying to get close to the Earth. Maybe they're trying to get to center of the Earth. Where scientists said it's still warm. Maybe people decided to use thermonuclear technology, nuclear technology. Sometimes things backfire. Sometimes things didn't work. Sometimes they fried an entire continent. So all this is going on. The circadian comes back and crash lands. The governments of the world, at this point, I don't even think there's Quantum Heights. The government of the world, whatever is remaining now, keep in mind the strongest, the best of the best that we had, the most smartest scientists, the strongest people, the most beautiful women, and all the
beautiful women.
Well, just because they're taking the best of the best.
No, man. Let's stay away from beautiful women.
No, I'm just saying. Do you remember the Hunger Games?
Yeah.
All the rich people. who got to go to the main city in the Hunger Games? Like, not the poor people, you know. They had to go to the
Yeah, but what I'm talking about
Hunger
here, the best of the best, being like scientific people, like World War Z. They didn't take pretty people. They took people that were gonna hold their own weight.
I kind of think like in this it would be so kind of insane the way people would act. I think like there would be like contests, there would be like fake contests, there would be
Nah, man.
people.
I don't even think it'll be. I don't think it'll be a debate. I think it'll just be like, the 1%, of course. Some of them, and then like scientists, like people who are gonna make a difference.
Yeah, maybe like it's too late for like money at that point, like for money to influence. Because I would think like a rich billionaire might say, I bought 25 slots and it's going to be me and 24 chicks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but I think it's gonna be like the people who invested in it. Like, listen, I'll put 2.5 billion into this thing, but I got a spot.
yeah, it's like Richard Branson type of people would be
Yeah, I
out
think
there,
so.
right?
That's how I
Yeah,
see
like
it.
I don't know, like I kind of feel like playboys, but it's unimportant. But whoever's on there, lots and lots of people that they want to like maybe even recolonize like other planets. Like I don't know what they're kind of intending, other than bringing back samples and bringing back like possible solutions or finding a place where the remaining people can go. The point is, I just feel like they kind of left like not the best people behind, if you know what I'm saying. So like that's who like when they come back and crash land, they're 70 or 80 years into kind of the people's descendants of the people that they left behind, right?
Okay.
And there's all this stuff going on where there's political debates and what do we do? The Circadian crash landed back on Earth. We'd have no idea if it was, or maybe they have some idea because of some communications that went back and forth. But when they were far deep out into space, they just don't know what occurred. And then the crash land of the Circadian is like the biggest disaster since, like, it's 100 times worse than a Titanic type of thing. So they go to the crash site of the Circadian with whatever recovery that they could bring along and recover some samples, recover stuff that's like alien, right? And that's kind of the long story short. The whole reason why I went into that was just to say, like, where did Donovan get that alien stuff, right? A lot of it came from there. So he kind of utilized those little genetic samples. They could be like microbes, and he can grow alien life forms out of that.
Oh, all right. Yeah, all right. I see it.
Like, so I feel like that's kind of a lot of where it all came from. Plus I think there's other satellites and things that are not satellites, but like rovers and different things that he could have personally sent out, and generations before him could have also done that type of work. But the Circadian, I think, plays like a really huge role in all of these things, because not only did so much of like what we had as the Earth, like our technology and our resources and our best manpower, whatever you want to call it, went into it, that to have it be that tragedy, but we're still able to kind of get like what the mission was. We're still able to fulfill some of that. And as we talked about before, the character of Bomag, who is on the cover of our website, albatrossjunction.com, he is trudging through the snow in that image, and he is actually related in some way to the Circadian. So there's like a lot of things that kind of go back to the Circadian, I feel like. Even Nika visits there. Even Nika visits the crash site, because what kind of happens is, as time goes by, the Arctic glaciers start to cover the entire Earth with ice, the oceans freeze over. As water freezes, it kind of expands a little, right? So I think the ocean levels, they would rise a little with the freezing. And the circadian, as the years go by the time we get to the time frame that we're in with Albatross Junction and Donovan Cordova and this whole group, is the circadian it's unrecognizable as a spaceship that has crash landed, because it's basically it half crashed like in the ocean basically, and it's frozen over and completely covered. So it's not the type of thing that like you can go visit like it's a museum or something like that. I mean, you would need a hammer and a chisel and like 10 years probably to go into the circadian at this point. So it's like really, really tough to get out these samples at this point. It's only people like Donovan who have like mastered a technology who can get even into the wreckage of the circadian. It's like an iceberg.
All right. I can see that. I can see. Oh, there you go. Your boy's pumping now.
Oh, let me see.
No, I'm talking about your cricket.
Oh, I thought you meant my pal here who's talking to us. Any particular series of Star Trek? I think the original one is the best one, but The Next Generation was the one that I kind of grew up with my dad watching it, and I would sit there and watch it with him, and it was the one where they kind of
yeah, Thundercats meets Star Trek meets the. Well, actually, I can see why this guy kind of looks like a cat, but I gave him a cleft palate, man. Yeah, I did. I just did. I went with it. I was like, oh, I like the idea. He's kind of crazy.
That is interesting, because I often go back to the Thundercats and say that sometimes the characters kind of look like that. They kind of are cat-like in a sense, the way they move, or kind of like gargoyles, the cartoon gargoyles.
Beastmaster was my joint, though. I can't lie. Beastmaster. I'm still crying over the ferrets.
He says his idea, Nick Woods' idea, that the last great war destroyed all the land on Earth, except for this tiny desert island, uninhabitable outside. Different sectors divided up between the remaining countries. Yeah, that's again.
That's a cool title.
Say that again.
Grandfathered In was the title he was working with. So ours is kind of similar, except desert island is just frozen over.
Yeah, and it's kind of the whole Earth, and I guess people fight over the good parts of it, the parts that can remain warm.
And there are a ton of like sun satellites, we've been calling them, that these people are fighting for control of to heat up their land. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and since those sun satellites are kind of like aged, they've been up there for a while, or they're broken down and stuff like that. Some of them are, too old of a technology to kind of utilize, and others are able to be utilized, but maybe the people don't have the knowledge to do it or the technology to get up there or to program them. There's a group in our story. It happens pretty early on. A different faction, kind of the losers of the war that happens before the book opens up. They're the group at Pikeburg, and their leader's name is Mackenzie. He makes a last-ditch effort to save his city by using the last spaceship that they have available, the last shuttle, to go up there with basically his last group, his last team that is able to do a job like this, and to try to reprogram an older sun satellite just to. Otherwise, his people are going to die. Pikeburg has been decimated by, different allies and different allies of Quantum Heights and Quantum Heights themselves during the last war. But there's a there's sort of a connection between Mackenzie and Donovan, not necessarily like a historical connection in the past with between them or anything like that, but just the fact that they're kind of similar men. That there's a scene where Donovan actually makes a visit to Pike Berg after Pike Berg works on the sun satellite that they intended to take. Sort of a tragedy happens, and at the same time something good happens. So there's like two sides of a coin there, and Donovan makes a trip over to Pikeberg to actually talk to Mackenzie, and that's a moment where something happens there. And I don't want to get into the spoiler of that, but these different groups meet, but they only meet at certain times. Like, Kevin, do you remember how we talked about there's times where you can travel, and it only happens about once every 67 years.
Yeah, we said 67 years where the sun satellites align, where they kind of melt the path from a long stretch on the globe. People kind of interact that time. We got to come up with a name for that event. You know what I mean?
Well, not to kind of give too much away, but it's like the word junction, it kind of relates to that too, but I think it's like on a bigger scale. It's like,
yeah, the junction. I mean, we came with junction because like a lot of stories happen on this patch of land called Albatross Junction. Like, you got No God, Donovan, Escher, Bomag. Everyone's kind of like gonna crash on the spot, and then the twins were really the main characters. No,
yeah, the twins
they're born there.
Donovan are, I mean, you're going to get to follow the twins from them being born. You're going to get to follow them throughout their life. So that's kind of cool. The way the story opens up is Donovan is already a strategic military leader, and he basically has an affair with an alien. And the result of that is Nika and Burkita. So right here on my side of the screen, I have kind of just a sketch of a young Nika training with Donovan. Donovan, being a military leader, he's also a master at strategy. He's a master at kung fu. He's a master at martial arts. He has preserved those traditions, and he also utilizes technology to help in like every aspect of his life. It's kind of like Neo in the Matrix when he utilizes the technology to learn kung fu. It's kind of built in. It's like Donovan has ways. He not only knows martial arts, but he has technological abilities that kind of make him really, really good at like physical things.
Yeah, he's the man. He's definitely the man.
Like, if he's a 48-year-old man, he has athleticism of a man younger. Because he's assisted, kind of. It's like in our world we have steroids. Imagine what someone of Donovan's caliber would, he would have the best. Like, a lot of people are starving, a lot of people aren't eating, but this guy's the general. This guy, he is eating, right? He is eating the best, and this is so far into the future that he knows exactly what to do. Like, you can watch Jeff Nippard on YouTube and learn the science of getting big right now. Imagine 1,000 years from now.
Who's Jeff Nippard?
The guy you turned me on to, that lifter, that power lifter.
Jeff Nippard. I don't know.
You told me to start watching his videos. He's like a really ripped white dude. He's on YouTube. He teaches you how to lift scientifically, get big.
Oh, Athlean?
No,
Athlean X?
no, that's Jeff Cavalier.
Oh yeah, yeah, yo, you are crazy right now. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I got to look at this guy.
Yeah, you just recently kind of turned me on to this guy maybe like 5-6 months ago. You told me how to watch him, and apparently, just like all the TV shows you told me to watch, you told me to watch and then forgot about it 2 seconds later.
And I stopped. Like, yo, listen, you watch this and let me know what's going on, man. I'm kind of done with it.
But he's like the top. He's like basically the top YouTuber for lifting, because he does it like scientifically, and everyone's kind of jealous of his success.
Methods.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Where
Yeah,
is
man.
that bug coming from?
That's your.
I know you can hear that.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's loud as hell.
Wonder, should I go battle it and like?
Nah, it's all good. Yo, you know what we need to do? Honestly, we need to design the map and kind of just like lay out the basic story. You know what I mean? I think this way, if we lay out the basic story, we can always refer back to it ourselves, and it'll be kind of cool to look at the basic story, then like go back and forth with the character designs.
Are you talking about like an outline?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an outline.
But I'm talking about like a video. Like next time we link up.
Oh,
like,
okay.
like we create the map.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You know what I mean? What do you say? What do you say? Who do you trust?
Yeah, the original series all the way, Nick says, for Star Trek, and you know that's when they really had all the best ideas going.
Yeah, the original series is amazing, and those ferrets were the best, bro. If you remember the name of those ferrets,
I don't know the ferrets. I don't remember that.
Beastmaster. They used to cut his red, cut him free. They saved him they fell in the fire, man. They fell in the fire. Then one of them fell in the fire. And the other one, I swear, the other one looked sad. Like that other one deserved an award, and he deserved a nod from the Academy at least. Telling you, man, my little heart was broken.
So yeah, the kind of bad part about living in this world, if there is like a really worse part, it's probably the fact that it's like really hard to die.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
You know, so like this guy I'm showing here.
I mean, other than the weather, obviously.
Well, that's so bad.
Oh, thanks, Nick. Nick is the man. Nick is the man.
You know, the weather is so terrible, but so many people would like wish that they could die. But these hemobites, this technology that was put in place hundreds of years previous, kind of infected all life forms and made its way into like things you ingest, like plants and animals. And when they get inside you, if they're not inside you already from your mother, they kind of work alongside your blood and your white blood cells, and they work to, well, you know, they're supposed to be there to help, but they're really kind of a pain in the ass, you know. And one of the things that they do is try to keep you alive when you're dying. So they might attack disease like the white blood cells do. If the white blood cells can't fight the disease, the hemobites will attack it as well. The hemobites will also form kind of extra parts that you might need. Like, so if you need an organ, the hemobites kind of step in and rebuild using your own genetic material, your own DNA, to rebuild part of an organ or an entire organ, or in some cases where people need something more, they can step in and kind of patch up like like let's say someone comes and chops your arm off. Well, you might not bleed to death in that situation because the hemobites will kind of clot up the wound, you know, until you can go get, like this guy got here, a mechanical arm and sometimes they can be better than your real arm for certain things, but nothing's as good as the real thing.
I take it as like for the most part, everything you upgrade to is like kind of better than the original part, stronger at least. No.
Totally stronger. I just kind of think of it like I always think of like what my dentist told me when you get it like a tooth pulled, and I say like, oh, can I put in the implant?
A post or something.
And he goes, no, but yeah, you can do the implant, but don't you know that nothing's as good as the real thing?
Yeah.
It's like, baby, isn't that like a Pepsi commercial or something like that? But isn't that a Coke commercial? But it's like the truest thing. So I think if you have one of these arms, you have one of these mechanical arms, I mean, yeah, you might be able to lift half a car now, but you still want to wipe your ass like with your real arm.
I mean, but now you have like precise targeting, man. You can get all the dingleberries one by one.
Right. So, like, when people go in for an upgrade, sometimes people are even going in like it's like Elysium, and they're going in because they want to have, like, let's say their spine enhanced with whatever, something mechanical to kind of, maybe for like military reasons, for fighting reasons, for survivability reasons, and like you said, for targeting. So like maybe this guy, he's got a couple like cancer tumors on his head, because this is just not a friendly world. This is a world where there's like people are using like fusion engines and nuclear reactors to kind of heat their home. So you have very unsafe things around. It's kind of like Mad Max. If you guys ever saw the new Mad Max, where it's like Charlize Theron and all these people, like, who's the Bane guy? He's in there too. He's got the Mel Gibson role. But anyway, Tom Hardy, Mad Max. Is it called Mad Max? Fury Road.
Mad Max.
Fury Road. So in that movie, they kind of depict these people who have like tumors and stuff like that on their head. They're actually spreading. I forget is it lye? They're spreading all over themselves. They're like spreading something all over themselves to kind of keep the tumors at bay and things like that. Now, in our world, the people have the tumors and stuff, but they don't really die, because what happens is the hemobites come in and do battle with the tumors. So you're sitting there with cancer, and you just want to die, and it's cold, and you just want to die, and you've got one arm, and you just want to die, and the hemobites don't let you die.
Yeah, so I mean, suicide is committing murder, pretty much.
Yeah, so a lot of people, like, let's take the Manfredos, for instance. Now, they might have a lot of guns, and they might have some special guns that could shoot at you and heat up your hemobites into thinking that you've done something wrong and that they're going to kill you, so they do. But there's also Manfredos that don't have those guns, but they're so crazy, or there's fighters in this world that are so crazy that they just want to come and perform a murder so that they themselves can die.
Yeah. The new Mad Max did feel like one long action sequence, though. I agree.
Say that again?
The new Mad Max. I'm still with Nick on the comments.
Oh, well, we got to read that.
Didn't like it.
Yeah, I think I only watched that movie once, but I liked it. I liked it.
I liked it visually. I could take it at just from the visual standpoint.
A lot of these new movies, though, I feel like I can only watch it the one time, and I come out real happy. I'm telling you, like, I come out of Doctor Strange. I'm like, that's like one of the best movies I ever saw. That could be the best movie I ever saw. But did I try to replay the movie like later? No.
Yeah, it's garbage.
When I saw, I think I still think Thor 3 was really good, though. I still think Thor 3 was good. Yeah,
Ragnarok was pretty good.
They spent some time in Hulk's room. I don't think you can beat spending time in Hulk's room. That's the best. If you can go to Hulk's bedroom, which they did in that movie, like a lot.
Yeah, that was funny.
It's a win.
That was good.
He says, "Are these a select few that want to downgrade instead of upgrade. You mean like the people that get their like mechanical parts? It's like I kind of think they do it for like it's kind of like they're in like a prison, almost like a prison gang. And some of these people are on the outside of the cities, and they might be members of, maybe if you're like a runaway girl, the Manfredos might take you in. If you are a nomad, maybe a triumvirate member will take you in and want you to kind of start at the low level, kind of like you're in a gang, and work your way up. And those type of people, they want an edge, they want something that makes them better than the rest. And also some people, there's just weird beliefs in this world. Some people see someone rolling in on like an elephant or like a mammoth type creature that they've resurrected from some genetic material, and they've got a mammoth somehow, and they crush people. Or some people see someone rolling in like a mech suit and crushing people, and they're like, what if I had a mechanical arm in place of my no arm? Could I choke someone and then I don't get the repercussion? So they are maybe they kind of think that will happen. Like, oh, if I get a mechanical leg and I kick you, maybe the hemobites won't know that I did it. So people are trying that type of stuff all the time. And there's just lots of ways that you could like lose your limb in this world that a lot of people need. Frostbite, for instance, people are going to get cold, people are going to get their fingers and hands chopped off, and they're going to lose a toe, they're going to lose a foot. And
one of the cool things though about the world though is that the nanotech that's in everyone's blood, it heats up when you're in a high security area. So what they do is they kind of like play with the edge, really. Like they get as close as they can to warm themselves up internally. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So a character like Donovan, who runs Quantum Heights, the city of Quantum Heights, he set it up. He kind of programmed the city area almost like your dog's invisible fence.
Yeah, basically.
Outside. So the dog has a collar. He can't go outside the yard without it shocking him or something like that. In our world, it's like the people within the city kind of have a pass. They have sort of the key code inside their hemobites, inside their genetic blood material that's artificial. And they get a pass to be in the city, and everything's fine. The people that don't have that pass, that maybe it's a digital code inside their hemobites, whatever it is, the people outside the city, they would, if they made it inside the city walls, they would burn, they would blow up, they would be immobilized.
It would disintegrate. Yeah,
it's like disintegration through heat. So what they do is they play with that notion, like Kevin just said. They will kind of roam close to the walls. They will roam close to the city and hang out and set up like little tent cities outside the city walls, because where it gets closer to the
there's a ton of tent. It's like that's exactly a tent city, like a Skid Row right outside the city walls, really.
Yeah.
Which is kind of
where they're kind of using
the tech to their benefit.
Yeah, like they're using that tech that they're annoyed with, or that kind of is the bane of their existence, but it's the one thing keeping them alive, because they can hang out close to the walls of Quantum Heights, and their hemobites start to activate as if to warn them, but the heat is welcoming because it's so cold. So the people are kind of like, I wouldn't say they're living large, but they're able to survive in those tent cities outside of Quantum Heights, which actually, Donovan wouldn't admit it, but it's actually one of the things that like benefits Quantum Heights, because you kind of grow the city numbers, but without having to host those people inside the city. So if anybody was going to attack Quantum Heights, they would almost first have to go through this whole nomad tent city situation to even approach the walls of Quantum Heights. And then they themselves would have to deal with the fact that they don't have the passkey embedded in their genetic hemobite material. and they will not be able to proceed either. So it's kind of like a, not only, you know, that type of defense in a sense, but it's like Donovan hosts more people than the actual population of Quantum Heights. Who he's hosting is actually all the people outside of Quantum Heights, and even if you look beyond that, he's hosting almost like the whole world, in the sense that he's feeding the world, because he's providing all this alien material, like you see in this image I'm showing you here. This is like alien style vegetation that's kind of growing on the Earth. That's one of the materials, one of the samples kind of gotten from some planet, some some moon out in space.
No, that there isn't any. There's no purist surviving without technology in this world. Not beyond the walls, anyway. Not beyond the walls. Hell no. Hell no. I mean, if you're living under a sun satellite, you don't really need any tools or tech, because the tech is keeping you warm pretty much from space, right? But beyond the wall, I think everyone needs something to survive. Some type of tech.
Yeah, it's like the people we showed in the first stream, the kind of opening page, the page one or page one of the prologue, whatever you want to call it, showed just some of the things that people wear. So like here you have, you know, like this guy here in the foreground, he has a kind of a suit on that utilizes technology to protect him, to keep him warm. It's not a super bulky item, whereas like the guy in the background, he has more of a winter coat on, but he has some kind of radiation heating system like over around his head. So different people use different kind of methods to keep warm. Most of the time, it's literally just a lot of layers.
Yeah.
But if you're kind of lucky enough, maybe you're ex-military, maybe you're in the military, maybe you are kind of a higher up, and you have some, or maybe you got lucky and you kind of found something, or you had something built that can keep you warm, like a different type of, because I think people would rather have something with technology that is powered, rather than just trying to use their own body heat and trying to play tricks with the hemobites to actually survive.
Yeah, definitely need tech. Absolutely. Yeah, man. I mean, what's up with that? Oh, nice. A horror flick. I have an idea for a horror flick, actually called Horror. Didn't I tell you about that? About the horror kind of like dark comedy I wanted to kind of do.
I don't know. I don't remember.
How like it's basically kind of like a spin off of my own life, where like I grew up reading, like Fangoria magazine and things like that, to the point where, and I was watching like Faces of Death when I was like 9 years old, and it kind of made me paranoid to like the point where I thought someone was always going to try to kill me. So I always had like a joke going on in my head, like, what if I got to the point where I was so paranoid that I started attacking people out of fear? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So it's like this dude gets so scared from all the horror movies he saw as a kid that wherever he goes somewhere, he plays out a horror scenario in his head.
Like I can see that, him. Like he's at a toy store and he thinks it's going to be like a Chucky doll, so he just
So he just sets the aisle on fire and runs away screaming.
I mean, you know what?
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
You know what I think you just invented?
What?
Honest to God, should I give this away? Like,
I think Nick is gonna run with it, man.
I want you to do this after the.
Yes, it's good. It's good. It's funny, man. I always wanted to do this.
After the children's book that you do now.
Yeah.
So get that children's book out. The follow-up to that, like, not to do with that story, nothing to do with that story, but does anyone do a children's horror? I don't think they do that.
I mean, they have. I can't really say it's a children's horror, but they have some type of
I think you should
Yeah,
do that idea as a children's book.
It'd be kind
That
of
would
funny.
be crazy.
For
I think
adults.
people are ready for that. I think people are ready
Yeah.
for that because you know how these kids now, they're so smart. Like at 1 year old, they're on the iPad. At 4 years old, they're explaining to you what you need to know. It's crazy. So I think you know these
But
these
it's gonna be gory as hell though.
Is that okay? I mean, some
I need it to
parents,
be-
you know, some parents aren't even
No,
looking.
it's not okay.
Like some parents aren't even looking.
That's not okay.
I mean?
I don't think that's okay, man.
No,
Nah, a gory kids book.
why not?
Oh man, that'd be crazy. A period film could work too. Yo, what I was about to say something. I forgot what I was about to say.
That would be good, actually. Like if it was a period film, with your idea.
Well, I'm thinking 80s, but not too crazy.
I'm thinking this movie's in black and white. I'm thinking you kind of make it be like it's a Twilight Zone.
Like film it like a
Filming like it's
Bruce
Twilight Zone. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, man. It's pretty funny. Pretty funny. It could be funny. Like there's a lot of room for comedy in that.
Well, that's why I kind of think like, you know, if you tread the line, it could be, I don't know, it could be for kids, or it could be like a
late 70s, mid 80s, definitely. That's what I'm thinking of, because it's really about me, and I'm a OG, triple OG at this point.
Oh yeah, well that like that's what we know the most about.
Yeah, 70s, 80s, hell yeah.
And I mean, we could hit that. Like the 80s and 90s are the tone that I could hit any day of the week.
I haven't left that tone.
Yeah, I live there. Like I still write, like if I have a checkbook, I might write like 2007 on it. Like I'm so behind.
Yeah. Well, I think I was at work one day and I wrote 1996. And it was like, oh my God, what did I just do?
So what you're drawing now is like a god Nika.
Yeah, like Nika fully like fulfilled, like with the blood tech. Like he got the nanotech into like crazy orbs that he's just gonna do whatever he wants with.
Yeah, it's like in my image on the left, I see Nika as a little bit younger, and he's got one of the albatross birds as like a young bird. He kind of takes these birds and he kind of does like what people do for their own body. He does it to the birds.
Oh, nice.
Like
Yo, Nick Wood's got he got 3 movie titles.
Whoa.
Man, it's kind of cool to see a lot of people with with their own ideas coming through. It's dope. It's dope. Yo, if at the very least we'll get like all types of conversations going as far as like just stirring up creativity. But yo, man, this is really crazy what we got here, man. Like I just kind of like just lean back and just look at what we're doing. I like it. I'm a fan. I'm a humongous fan. Albatross Junction. That's nutty.
Here's like a little sketch I did of Mackenzie. So Mackenzie's group out in Pikeburg, as you can tell by this sketch, he's kind of like more emaciated than someone like Donovan, who's like strong. But this guy has, some badass people with him. He's got his right hand woman, and he's got a couple other mercenaries.
Dope. All day, every day. That all day, every day makes me think of like
Joe Rogan.
Makes me think of Brooklyn, really.
Oh.
Because it's like that's kind of how you talk garbage out there when I was coming up. Yeah, all day, every day. Like, oh, you got this, how you doing that? Yeah, all day, every day. I'm out here. BK all day.
This is
What is that? Who's
like
next? Who is that? Oh, the Manfredo charge, right?
Yeah, so like I was talking about before,
crazy.
The Manfredos are just a group of ladies that kind of hang out together. One of their claims to fame is that like they take kind of pride in I don't know how to say that. It's like I guess it's like bravado. It's like they take pride in dressing with less clothes, as like to kind of show you like,
That
hey,
is, yeah,
I don't give a shit that is cold. You know,
yeah.
this is
That
how.
is kind of like a futuristic way to peacock in this world. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I
so
don't
like,
need all this. I'm the man. I'm tough.
and like I feel like Nika does that without that sentiment of like, oh, I want to be
Yeah,
cool,
he's the real thing. Yep.
because he really isn't cold. But these ladies, you know, some of them are going to wear winter coats, some of them are going to wear technology, like the one in the mech suit in the background. She's probably warm and toasty, maybe because maybe the mech suit has it's got some, you know, tubes and some niceties in there, probably
Nice
that
cheers.
are like warming her up, I'm thinking. I don't know. But you also have some Manfredos, and these are the ones that usually become the leader of the Manfredo faction that they're in. The toughest ones, usually they don't want to wear too many clothes. They want to carry around like the skulls of the people they've disintegrated, to
Cheers.
kind of show like, look, like I've got their bones, I'm not dead. So that's another huge kind of bravado claim to fame for them, is like the people that can kill with impunity.
Oh, that's
they,
huge.
they kind of have a saying, um, they kind of have a saying
Kill
like,
and be killed.
yeah, they kind of have a saying all throughout the world, um, you know, where it's kill and be killed. So if everyone knows, like the kind of oldest law is, if you kill, you will be killed, and it's instant because of the hemobites in your blood that are there from the moment you're born, or from the moment you consume some kind of plant life or some kind of animal life. um, you know, on Earth, you are going to be infected, if that's the right word, with hemobites, and you're kind of born with it if you're born on this planet, and it gets to you like from the mother, kind of like alcoholism, you know, and and the people who could, it's a surprise to people when they see someone kill and they don't themselves get disintegrated, because that's like an unheard of phenomenon. And when
Yeah.
someone does see that happen in our story, kind of happens pretty early, uh, and the people start shouting, you know, he killed without consequence. He killed without consequence. He killed without consequence. You know, because that's like unheard of, and nobody gets that. Some people know about those special weapons that the Manfredos use. They're kind of like disruptor rifles I told you about, where they don't get the reaction from their own hemobites when they shoot that at you, because it's more like a type of gun that burns you up because of your own hemobite reaction, and not because of someone else's intent.
Yeah.
So people know about that. When they see the Manfredos coming, they're afraid. They're afraid, because the one other thing that, like, you know, is just really kind of just true about war, is that when people come in and conquer, you know, they take over, and a lot of times they're violent about it, and they kill and they rape and stuff like that. And the Manfredos are no different. When they come in and conquer, they will rape you.
Yeah.
These chicks will rape you. So some of them, I don't think in this picture here, but some of them are wearing or carry like a strap on. And when it's like fun for them, this is like a gang. This is like a gang, and it's like they're showing off to each other, and it's fun for them that if they conquer your land, if they conquer you, they will come in, and some of them
It's
will
dark.
rape you.
It's
I
dark.
mean, that's just how it is. It's dark. Um, it's just the nature of it. It's just the reputation of the Manfredos. They come in riding on beasts. They come in riding on mechs. They come in riding on horses. They come in riding on animals that have been that have been enhanced, because there's just not much in the world that's like not enhanced. You know, these hemobites have like infected everything. They're inside horses. You know, you might have a horse with a half broken leg. Normally you would kill that horse. Now in our world, you don't really get the reaction from your hemobites if you kill an animal. It's just like a law against human beings. Some part of the brain that reacts when you take a life, it's recognized by the hemobites, but it's not the same with an animal. Normally people would like shoot like a horse with a broken leg, but in this world a horse is a commodity, you know, and it's a valuable living thing that could go extinct basically. So they might ramp it up with some robot legs or some chips inside its skull to kind of make it obey better or something like that. Plus it's got the hemobites that kind of help it stay alive as well, because the hemobites have kind of infected every life form.
I don't think a horse could survive in negative 100 for too long. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it has to be upgraded.
Like it has to be like have some kind of like power source to it and some
chicks
some
that
like
rape.
circuits, you know.
Yeah, the chicks that rape is mind rape.
Yeah, because I don't think anyone has that yet, and
nah, man, that's gonna be it's gonna be dark. I'm gonna have fun drawing it though.
this is an example of just somebody
I forgot about that. Yeah.
There's a few different types of there's a bunch of different types of vehicles in our world. There is hover bikes, which we call air bikes. This isn't one of those. This is a bike that still traverses over land, and this one is it's got the round type of spherical wheel that can rotate in any direction because of its magnetic capability on the front of the bike to rotate in any direction and still remain part of the bike, kind of like a BB-8 type of thing from Star Wars, where the top of the body is kind of always connected to the bottom of the body normally. Maybe on a huge jump, if they get huge air, the wheel will separate a little bit. Kev, you see what I'm saying? Like the wheel will separate a little bit when he lands, but boom, you know, back down. There's another type of terrain bike, fusion bike, which has a standard type of wheel, like you may have seen, like out on the road, like a Mack truck tire type of thing on the front. That's more of an older terrain bike. This is a kind of a newer style terrain bike. As you see here, it's just a little sketch, and it's just got like a helmet on. When they wear their helmets in our world, it's kind of a it's like a hologram, but it's all hard hologram. So it does have the capabilities of a regular helmet, but it's not always there. Like as soon as you get off the bike,
there's a lot going on in this world, man.
It will maybe go into like kind of your button on your jacket or something.
Or just go into your collar or something, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of disintegrates into your suit or whatever's projecting it. And so also, as you notice, the bike only has one wheel. The way it uses magnetic technology on the back half to kind of keep the back half up in the air, as the front half uses a one-wheel technology to propel the bike and use that as a stabilization and for turning and stuff like that.
Yeah. Fucked out. Yeah, man. I think we're almost pretty much wrapped up for the day, man.
Nice. I got like one more thing I wanted to show.
What about the so the same way he got, this is pretty much like a teenage Nika here, and this is kind of him older and fully realized. So this is like the blood orbs that he has full control of, and this is when he was kind of like a pup with it, and he only has like a couple of them floating around him that he can play around with and, you know, destroy things with.
Wait, I see the one that you just did with the heavier black to be like, that's like a Nika God scene. That's like Nika at his ultimate power.
This one. This one here.
Oh, I see the other one as ultimate power. Yeah.
This is ultimate power. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's ultimate power. And this is like teenage. He's just learning about this stuff. Yeah, man.
I like it.
Yeah, he said it's a badass idea about the land bike. Yeah, it is. It is.
Oh yeah, here's a better, kind of more recent image of
pretty sick.
The bikes. So the one in the foreground, I showed this the other day as well. The one in the foreground has like the standard type of tire that like we're used to. That's like kind of the first iteration of the all-terrain fusion bike, and the next iteration is like the one in the background there, where you got this this aggressor kind of coming forward. They, you know, that bike is more advanced. They can go in any direction at the you know, on a dime, and it's kind of a more all-terrain type of bike, where this one has the limitations of like our current tires.
Pretty sick.
Hey, thanks, Nick.
Pretty sick.
Yeah, oh, he's asking what's going on around the character's shoulders. I think you said it already.
Yeah, answered that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, like, we're pretty much figuring this out ourselves, real time. As he gets older, does he get what? Does he get one big orb as an adult? I think as he gets older, you won't even see the orbs. Like, he's actually going to be wearing the blood. Like, the blood is going to be a part of him, where it just like kind of just jumps off of him as he wills, like kind of like Carnage, right?
Yeah, I think like a little tighter than Carnage. You know, the way they draw Carnage is always like loose and liquidy around him. I think that could be a scene, but for the most part, it's like stickier to him, you know. But I could certainly
see like Carnage. It's a skin.
Yeah, I could certainly see like almost like a 2-page spread where he's going to leap at somebody and it's going to come out like a Carnage type of thing, but it's not going to be the type of thing where we're going to like draw that like that all the time.
No.
You know, we want to try to be like as original as we can.
Yeah. And at the same time, I do like the idea of like not force feeding everything to everyone. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Kind of like leave room for people's imagination.
Right.
Which is kind of hard to do, but you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, I kind of gave a lot of explanations today about
but
a
not
lot of
everyone
different
can just see this vid.
Well, I mean, you know, you never know. Like in the future, if someone likes the comic, they might go back and kind of like look at what it took to make it. But at least at that point, they will have already read it, hopefully. But even still, I try not to give away big story beats. Just kind of try to lay the groundwork of the world. It's like when you start talking about it, you realize like kind of how much we've already figured out.
Yeah, like we didn't make most of this stuff up on the spot. A lot of it is just being reiterated.
Yeah.
But we have the meat and potatoes down. Now we're just kind of like working out a couple of little kinks. And the funny thing, I think I was laughing at this to myself earlier. Like a funny thing that a lot of people won't know right at first, or won't realize, whoever's looking at this, is that we both kind of talk about it as if it's a fact. We didn't even like agree on it yet, and then the other person, if they don't look like, you know what, maybe maybe that's maybe we can
scale that back.
That's good though. Yeah, that's good though. I like that.
I would say for the most part we're on the same page, especially that we've like laid so much groundwork down, and it's just kind of haggling about the details.
It's already been a couple of years in the making as far as the story goes. Like the story, this isn't a new story. We've been sitting on this one for a couple of years.
That's the cool part about it. It's like something that Kevin been working on for 20-something years, something he's been telling me about for 10 or 12 years, and something we've been working on together for about 5 years. So before this, Kevin and I worked on a comic together, completed.
Yeah.
What year was Sumeria completed? Was it 2016 or 20?
I left in 2014 because my kids were born.
Okay, so maybe 2015 we finished
like
that one. It was like
2012
to 2015. Kevin and I worked on, I think it was like 7 or 8 volumes of a graphic novel called Sumeria. You guys can check it out. Look up Legend of Sumeria graphic novel.
That's a crazy book.
I think it's Legend of Sumeria on Instagram as well. So Legend you guys can look at that first volume. Kevin and I worked together as a colorist, inker, and penciler on that, and that was a few years ago. We've been talking about doing this for about 5 years. Been preparing for this, so we wanted to show everybody that wanted to see how comic book was done, kind of get in right at the beginning.
Yeah.
See, what kind of process the artist will take to develop a character concept like Kevin's doing right now. This is kind of a character concept that we actually won't need for some time because the character that he's drawing, Nika, although present in the very first issue, is not an adult for
oh
some
wow time. Yeah, but I think him and Adriana Paul are my favorite characters.
Yeah,
man. I love them. They got just a lot of grit to them.
I love Adriana
a feature
Paul.
film would be amazing. Imagine that. Oh yeah, feature film. That's the goal.
It's almost like I heard someone say the other day on a podcast or a live stream or something that it wasn't worth drawing the woman unless it was a beautiful woman. But I just disagree in the sense of this story because
I don't want to do beautiful women.
Well, I think there's going to be beautiful women, but I think that in this world that you set up, it's like you can't just roll through with a bunch of supermodels because it's just not they can't survive.
Beauty's lame now. Like, I'm just over like everybody. Like I told you, every time I tried to watch Vikings when they first came out, everyone would look great. I was like, come on, man, that's not.
Yeah, and a Viking is supposed to be like dirty.
Yeah, like come on, man. What else was it? That vampire thing, that teeny bopper vampire series.
Everyone's too. I mean, even like
here, that's garbage. I hate when people are too beautiful for no reason. Like, come on, that's just too much. So I'm literally like, I gave my man a cleft palate. You know what I'm saying? That's where my mind is at.
Well, I think let me show you this other drawing. For Nika, I think he did it to himself. But for this character is Droven. I don't know if I showed this one on the first stream.
They're like half brothers. Yeah, crazy.
Droven here has an actual cleft palate.
Droven, don't say you can't say this. All right, let's see. Can't get too deep. Yeah, I know, but you can't get too deep on Droven. Just keep calling him Droven. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because that's going to be a big surprise. I think when you find out exactly who Droven is, that's going to be like a whoa moment. It's going to be a huge moment.
Yeah. So
mental.
You know, in our world, everyone isn't
amazing. I mean, whoever sees this.
Yeah, I only bring him up because he's not perfect, you know.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, whoever sees this is gonna have a huge clue as to who Droven is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think that stuff is okay because anybody that wants
to that's cool.
Check this video. Yeah, like anyone that wants to check this video out, I feel like they are
they earned it
on the ground floor.
They earned it.
And I mean, I guess I'd understand if people didn't want spoilers, but let's just be real. This isn't like, you know, Star Wars Episode 9. This is Albatross Junction, and no one knows what it is. So
it's Albatross Junction Episode -57.
Yeah. So as far as spoilers go, I mean, there's going to be those in these videos. We're going to try to keep the main story beats, like the main story movements, on the DL. But there is going to be stuff that slips. There's going to be stuff that we show in the characters. That's just the nature of creating a character
and plus,
live in front of you guys.
No one, I don't have faith in anyone retaining all this information, man. Like come on. We just said Nika, Droven, Adriana Paul. Nika's featured a lot because that's what I'm drawing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I love Adriana Paul. If you have the orange book within reach, can you please? Oh no, I have the orange book.
You have the orange book. Dragonheart was dope.
I almost thought
hold on. Is Dragonheart the movie with Sean Connery? Is that the Dragonheart we're talking about?
Yeah, I have that movie.
That movie is incredible. A reboot. I mean, I'm a Dragon sucker. I'm a sucker for Dragons. So a reboot of Dragonheart would be. They already got my money.
Now, this is the
Star Wars
character we
Episode
love.
9. Oh man, Star
This
Wars
is
Episode 9.
this is Adriana Paul.
That's my chick right there.
That's Kevin's drawing. That's a one of the first. I think
it was the first.
Well, I don't want to say the first because you had sketches that were like from the 90s, and this is from 20.
Yeah.
This was maybe, what was this, 2013 or 2014?
Yeah, something like that.
But this is a character that we thought up that is very loyal to Donovan, our main character.
Yeah, man.
This is a female. This is a female, but she's not. Yeah, you know, we have a female character.
They call her Paul.
She's not pretty. You know what? She kind of this is what I base her off of, and the character that I'm about to say is pretty, and Adriana Paul is not. I just want to say that, but the Latino character from Aliens.
Well, yeah, it's
kind of what we base.
I would say it's half her and half of Meatloaf from Fight Club. Yeah, this is the upgrade. This is the upgrade of Adriana Paul. If I can get it on camera. Oh, how do I get this? Adriana Paul. Oh, come on.
I see Superman. Oh, I see Adriana Paul now. Okay.
Oh man, it's not gonna focus though.
Do you see Superman in there? Superman's like leaping. Holy. Do you see that?
Oh, I see. I kind of see what you're saying.
Superman.
I need a new camera, bro.
Yeah, this is another. This is actually my favorite image of Adriana Paul.
Oh man, it's not. She's a battle axe, definitely.
You like this image that you did? I like
that's
this.
That's like that was a little too Meatloaf, where she's missing like one breast from like I don't know if it got blown up, ripped off, or what, but she looked great. And that arm is real wonky, but you know. Do
you think I could say like what they call her?
That's funny. I don't know. Okay.
I don't know if we could say it. I think we could say it. She's a battle axe, Nick says. Yeah. We in our story, you know, a lot of people have cancer. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of radiation,
a lot of sickness and craziness.
And the hemobites can only take care of so much. They can't.
She's faster than a locomotive.
So what she had to have a breast removal.
Yeah,
She had a single breast removed. She was already like a D. She was already like a D plus. Okay, so she's got one breast left.
One huge one.
She's a killer though. Now
she'll hit the weight room with topless. Like she doesn't care.
She doesn't care. She's like one of the guys. She pretends like she's one of the guys. She does not care. She is like Donovan's like right-hand man besides Dobbs. So Donovan's got Dobbs, who's like his best friend, plus his right-hand man. Adriana Paul is right there as a close second. He trusts her more than anybody except for Dobbs, probably. He probably trusts Adriana Paul more than his wife. He probably trusts Adriana Paul more than the hemobites.
Adriana Paul is the truth.
And they call her, you know, she's such a badass, and she's only got one breast. They call her the one-tit wonder.
That's funny, man.
So we kind of have, like her last name being Paul, her being one of the guys. Like a lot of the military guys, a lot of the people just call her Paul. She's really Adriana Paul, which, you know, the reason for her name being Adriana is because I just think that Adriana is one of the most beautiful names, and we thought, why not attach the most beautiful name with the least beautiful character, at least physically. So we call her Adriana Paul, and Paul for short. That's what people usually call her in the stories. They're going to call her Paul. So when she's out of panel and someone says, you know, we got to go get Paul, someone, you know, people might think a dude's going to walk in, you know, but it's not. It's Adriana Paul, but she's probably as tough as two dudes.
Yeah, she's no joke, man. She's no joke. All right, broski, I think I'm out of here, man.
All right, well, thanks for doing this for 2 hours.
Yeah,
I think you came up with really awesome art like this. See, now you made it look more like a straitjacket. Don't you?
Nah, it's like a crazy poncho, man. It's a crazy poncho.
Okay, it's a poncho, but it looks like a straitjacket because maybe it's a smile. You know,
He's
he
gonna
looks
have like a crazy.
devious.
Yeah, he looks crazy. He is crazy.
It looks devious, so I kind of read it as like, you know, he's locked up.
Yeah,
I guess there'd be straps if it was a straitjacket.
Yeah, and there's like a split right over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love it though. I love that.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay. I like the other one a lot too because that's like you know, Dark Phoenix, like Nika Dark Phoenix moment is the drawing.
It's gonna be good, man. Yo, what's today's date? I should start dating these things.
23, I think.
10/23. Yep.
Yeah. So anybody wants to check out the next one, which will be issue number 4. The issues are just the names of the videos. They're not like the 4th issue of the comic book, but the comic book is Albatross Junction. Check that out, albatrossjunction.com, or check out the next video, which will be on Kevin's channel. What's your channel? Is it K Scott Cosme?
It's just Kev Cosme. KEVCOSME.
Kev Cosme. Subscribe to that. Subscribe to his channel. We will be doing issue number 4 on there, and then back to number 5 on here. Are you also broadcasting on Instagram, or did you decide?
No, man. I need to get a tripod to make that happen. You need a tripod to make that happen, sir. Okay. I'll make it. I'll get it right. I was thinking more like Clint Eastwood, man. No, oh yeah, that's my guy.
I want to see you make that original like logo style out of the idea for this book.
Yeah, the orange joint.
I liked it that when you had it like even like it was a square, like it looked like a square, but it was also a book. Like I think like on my screen, like take a look at this. Yeah,
like that. Yep. That's how we had it. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, man. I still have the file.
That was really cool.
Yeah, I'll make it happen.
But
thanks a lot, Nick, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you, Nick. Thanks for sticking around and chatting with us.
Yeah, hell yeah. That was fun. That was good.
Time.
That was good. That was good.
Come back and see us on Kev's channel next time. You know, I want to do this like 3 times a week if we can do it. Usually,
yeah, man. I want to do this. I want to do this every day.
Around the time we started is I'm usually like wrapping up like Saber stuff, and then I have a couple hours. So we'll probably do it again. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you have to tell me. You have to tell me when. But we'll announce it.
Well, we'll touch base. Let's touch base tomorrow. See how we feel. Because I might be down to just do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe we'll do it again tomorrow. And usually, I think Sunday is kind of good for us.
It's just us two. Sunday, you said Sunday. Sundays will work.
So maybe like every Sunday. You know, maybe every like Wednesday, Thursday. So I want to try to do like 3 times a week. If it's not like set in stone, it'll just be like 3 times a week, like randomly. But I think man. Sunday should kind of be set.
Yeah,
that's a good time to do it.
I'm with it. I am with it. I'm with it, sir.
All right, cool.
Broski. I'm out of here, man.
All right.
Later on.
Thanks, Kev. Thanks, Nick.
All right, man. Later on.
See you.